We are here with another episode of Coffee with Coaches, and we are so excited to be here. And 1 week from today, we have our March in-service that is coming up. So we are here today to walk you through some of the things that will be going on. And just to let you all know that we do hear you. So we did design this in-service around having more time to dive into each of the sessions. So we can talk about that a little bit more as we get to that spot. And I think Corey's going to take us right to the coach's website, and you're on.
Okay. So you will be getting a letter that does link, the coach's website, but I do want to just go over again how you can easily get to the coach's website. Jenny, do you want to admit my screen to the media or to the broadcast? Oh, there we go. Okay. So you all have up in your bookmark bar, this right here, it says grcsu.org bookmarks. If you click on that, the coach's website has been automatically added to that folder for you. So that's an easy way for you to get to our website. Scroll down, you have in-service information. If you just click on it, it brings you to all of our in-services, and we are in March. So from this page, you have a few options. We have the agenda, which is relevant for everyone attending in-service. We have a special link for pre-K teachers with a note underneath for you, and I'm going to let Jenny explain in a few minutes about pre-K. And then we have a link to resources, and this is going to include the daily planner that we ask you to fill out. It's going to include any presentations that we have, and then as we have recordings from in-service, this is where those will live as well. So taking a look at the agenda. It will take a second to load, so just be patient with it. We heard that it was a little confusing last time about what to click on to find information, and then you had to do some scrolling, so we've tried to fix that for you. All you have to do now is hover over the session that you would like to learn more about. So for example, if I want to learn a little bit more about implicit bias, if I hover over it, it's going to give me all the information. It's going to tell me what the goals of the session are. It's going to tell me who my presenters are. I will have a Google Meet link. And then if there are any slides that the presenters have chosen to share ahead of time, those will be linked in there as well. And then just, I think the other relevant thing to note is we do have Up for Learning joining us again with required sessions for each school. And then we have the PBGRs and Essential Elements session, which Jenny will talk more about as well. Is there anything else that I should cover before somebody else takes over?
Does someone want to talk about the 90-minute sessions?
Somebody should.
I can do that. So we have the session set up right now for 90 minutes. However, that's not 90 minutes of live presenters talking at you. They're designed to be still about the same amount of new learning, but then the extra time is so that you can really dig in and reflect and apply and work on it. For any of you who've done our learning modules, we have these sessions set up in the same kind of way. So start off by anchoring your learning, connecting to something you already know or do. Add is where you're doing that new learning piece. And then we gave a whole bunch of time for the apply and away built in there. You can always come back to it later, but we wanted to make sure that was built in. We've gotten lots of feedback about going from session to session too quickly. It's hard to consolidate the learning that you've done. So that's why the sessions look as long as they do. No, it's not 90 minutes straight of a presentation. So that's why those sessions look longer. So hopefully that will work out well this time.
Great explanation. Thank you, Alina. All right, so then we can talk about each of the sessions a little bit that are on here. And again, I think the one thing that we didn't mention is that there are modules available too. So if you don't want to do a live session, you could do a module, and that gives you time to really apply that module as well.
And
So,
Jenny, can I
yes,
interrupt you? I'm sorry.
you sure can.
Just to point out on the modules that we have gone through, and we have found the modules that are specifically related to the topics that will be discussed during in-service. So our topics for in-service this time are equity. There's still some assessment and data built in, literacy and UDL. And so we have found relevant modules that have already been created or relevant in-services that we have done in the past, and we've linked those in. Or we do have a few new modules. So if something is new, we've highlighted that for you as well.
I can talk a little bit about some of the modules.
I was just going to say that, Sandy, because we hadn't heard your voice yet. So I was going to ask you to go first. Go, girl, go.
Okay, so one thing that is required, there's 3 different Up for Learning sessions that you will be asked to go to with your building. And Up for Learning has explained to me that they have grouped schools together with some strategic thinking in mind. For one, there's aware groups. So schools that are part of AWARE are grouped together. And then the themes in the sessions are, I don't know if you guys can hear that lovely train throwing me off. Anyway, the themes of the sessions are connections, circle of wellness, and restorative practices. So those are the types of things you'll be exploring in your Up for Learning time. I also believe that there'll be some student presenters from the relevant schools. So that'll be exciting to have that student involvement. Should I just go right into the session that I'm doing too? Okay, so Up for Learning is required, and then one of your choice sessions that I'm doing is about literacy and hands-on literacy. I'd like to invite people outside of English to try this out. I feel like this is really geared towards maybe middle level, like maybe grades 5 through 10, 11, maybe 12th grade. But there's a lot of hands-on literacy, and we'll be acting, we'll be molding, we'll be building. So if you come to this session, be prepared to be doing things and sharing what you do with the group. I'm really excited about it. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is that there is a wellness time. So you have a half an hour for lunch and then a half an hour of wellness. You're not required to go to one specific wellness event. There'll be some choices for you to pick from for your wellness. It could be take a walk, or it could be something guided through the computer. There'll be a bunch of different options for you, like some meditation, some physical activity. So that's what I wanted to tell you about. I look forward to seeing you there.
Sandy, one question. You said that they were going to be molding and doing some things. Are there some supplies?
Oh,
how are they getting those?
Thank you. So there will be, I'm going to be dropping off little teeny tubs of Play-Doh to each school. And if you are deciding to do the literacy, hands-on literacy, whatever we call it, interactive literacy, you'll need to pick those up from the front office. And you might also want to have something to write with, and maybe like open piece of paper, some colored pencils or markers, or just anything that you would like to do your drawing. There's no requirements for art supplies, but you will be possibly drafting something, so you might want those things on hand. But the thing that I'm going to supply for you will be little teeny tubs of Play-Doh, and hopefully there'll be enough for anyone who wants to join this session. Did that answer the question? Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, Alina, do you want to talk about equity groups?
Sure. So speaking of supplies, if you're going to attend one of the equity sessions, there will be pipe cleaners available to grab from the main office at each building, again, with the little Play-Doh tubs. Those are going to be dropped off at all of the schools next week. So that's going to, so just mention on the schedule, the first equity session is implicit bias. That one is a rerun of the session that Megan and Sarah presented back in October. This time, Megan is presenting that one again. Thank you, Megan. You rock. So if you did attend that session in October, this is the rerun, so don't attend it again unless you really want to. But for anyone who then wants to take the next step, or you don't have to have done implicit bias, they're not necessarily sequential. We did, or Megan did, she wrote and set up another equity session for us to continue to dive into that learning. And that is the one called Identity and Intersectionality. So that is a brand new session. That's the one where you'll need some pipe cleaners. So again, there'll be pipe cleaners available in the office of all the schools for you to grab for that. And thank you so much to Megan for volunteering to present and keep moving our work forward in the area of equity.
Awesome. So that leaves the PBGRs and essential elements, and that piece is going to be done by Kimberly. And that is for all special educators and related service providers. And there are 2 different sessions. So you can choose which one to go to, whether you're elementary, high school, special educator. It doesn't make a difference. She's doing the exact same session twice. And there will be some breakout groups for you as whether you are elementary, so for the essential elements, or if you are middle high school for the PBGRs. And you will be diving into what those PBGRs and essential elements are and being able to have some time to relate those to goals you have for your own students. So that should be a really great session as well. And let's see, the other one is I have 2 sessions going on, and the first one is, let me find the really fun name for it. Did we call it? Why can't I see it? Okay, well, we'll start with the Maps Accelerator one because I see that one. All right, so we are going to be having another Maps Accelerator session. The last time in February, it was sort of a 101 version, introducing you, making sure you could get signed up, how to sign your students up. This is that next step. So this is going to be looking at the data that has come up so far and really diving into all the things that you can see in Maps Accelerator. So if you haven't already set that up and had your students be part of that, then this session is probably not for you. You could still join and follow along and see what other people are doing maybe. But you really want to make sure you have some time to get your students on it before you can get the most out of this. And the other session is literacy based, and Lindsay Ryder, who is also a rock star, put together a presentation, and she will be joining me if she is able, but if she has a beautiful little baby, I will be on my own. And we are just going to take a look at the science of learning and what is, or science of reading, and what is the science of reading, and why are we taking a look at that, and what does that have to do with your work moving forward. And again, like Sandy said earlier, this is not just for literacy teachers. This is for everybody, because literacy is embedded in everything. So K through 12, please go ahead and join us. Whether you are social studies or science or whatever it is that you teach, I think you'll get something out of it. And then the last piece is Corey had mentioned that I would be talking about the pre-K sessions. I'm going to let her pop over there. And Angie Hayes has been working really hard on a lot of different pre-K options for all pre-K staff. And in this in-service, the pre-K IAs and paras, just the pre-K, are invited to join in on this in-service. So if you would like to join, there are all kinds of sessions. The pre-K IAs and paras have 15 hours of education that they have to do every year as a requirement. So because of that, there are some options here. The Better Kid Care, there are several. There is a PBS option. Can you scroll down a little bit, Corey, for me? There we go. And first aid and CPR. So anybody that works with pre-K that hasn't had that first aid CPR, or you're due for it soon, Angie has your information, and she has, I believe, already sent that out to you. You could do it online. There is no in-person option. And she has all the details about how to get that paid for and that sort of thing. And the pre-K teachers, you can choose any of those options or to go right to the main agenda. And in the main agenda is all those options that we have each talked about. So you have some flexibility in what you do as well. I think I covered all that. I hope so. Okay. So did we get all those sessions? Did I miss anybody? Did we get anybody missed?
I do want to point out, I feel like we're going out of order now, right? I'm going to go back to the welcome on the agenda. That we're kind of going back to what we were doing last year with our welcome. We're giving you a soft start of 30 minutes to kind of look through the sessions and plan your day. And we're doing that, again, similar to last year, with a slideshow for you, just with all the necessary pieces. So right now we're missing the welcome video that's being done. It will be there by next Friday. Just a welcome message along with the in-service planner linked, quote of the day for you. And then we thought it might be fun to bring back the mixtape. We had some fun with that last year. So if you have a song that you're really enjoying right now and you want to share with us, you click the link here. It'll bring you to a new slideshow, and you can either link your song, link a YouTube video, just drop the name and the artist, and then we will compile it on Spotify and get it out to you probably around halfway, probably during that wellness part. And then to sandwich that with the end of the day, that there is an hour school-based session at the end of in-service, and that your administrators will be notifying you of what's expected during that time.
Though Al isn't on the call with us, he is going to run some sessions, so I figure I'll mention those. He's going to run a session on formative assessment in Google Forms. And again, that could be for anybody who teaches students that are on their Chromebooks. So that's going to be running 2 different times, so you can probably catch that one of the times. And then he's also running a session on looking at your SBAC interim data. So if you had done SBAC interims and want help at diving deeper into that data, if you kind of looked at it and were like, okay, I kind of get this, but I want some more information, he's going to take you deeper into those tools for looking at it. So those sessions are on there as well. And then I think, Corey, and you've got the UDL sessions.
Yes, we will be offering 2 different UDL sessions. The first one I actually have during session 2, just based on which schools we're up for learning. The UDL barrier session is really more of an introduction session where we're mainly just exploring what are barriers and what are we currently doing in our classrooms. And this is something that teachers at Middletown, Wells, and West Rutland have already gone through. So if you're at any of those 3 schools, you're probably not going to want to attend that session. And then I have another one that we're running twice, which is UDL lesson plans. And that one's going to go a little more in depth and really looking at our lesson plans and planning for the future.
All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts? All right, cool. So we really did try to listen to that feedback that you give us. So if you didn't give us feedback last time, please make sure you do this time, because we really do put our heads together and try and give you what you're asking for when it's possible. So we hope that you enjoy this next in-service, and March has certainly come in like a lion, and we're hoping that after this Saturday, it will be a little more lamb-like, so that would be great. Maybe for wellness, we could get out there and get some walks in next Friday, so we'll see what the weather does. All right, until then, we all thank you so much for watching, and we will see you around. Bye, everyone. Thanks.